Hello there and welcome to this lap guide on the Nürburgring Combined. It is the combination out of the Nürburgring GP and the Nordschleife. It's the week of the 24 hours race on the Nordschleife in iRacing. And with that, we get this week in the officials, of course. So I'm going to show you around this track. I'm going to show you how it works. So this is going to be a long lap guide since the laps are about 8 minutes here. And as you can see, we had a 8.18.1 here. Yeah, I lost a little bit of time there in between the sectors here. So about 0.5 I could have get out of here as well. But yeah, we did that 8.18 and I'm happy with it. We look at the conditions right here. We have a mostly cloudy setting. It is pretty calm on the track out there. It's not too hot and stuff like that, so it is pretty fine. There's also rain in the opens. Yes, I know, but I think I will make a guide out of an official race if it rains there, and then we'll see how that goes. So let's dive right into this lap and let's try to find some pace here. Here we go. As we go into this lap for turn 1, we want to look out for the 150 meter sign a little bit before we start to get on the brakes. 60% here. You stay on the outside, second gear. Try to cut this as much as you can to get the turn in. And with that rotation, you just hit the throttle a little bit, then you hit the brakes again. You try to go as close as you can. Don't hit the tires here though. You go on the throttle pretty early again because you want to get a great exit. Then next corner is interesting. You start to brake shortly before this part of the track ends here. Then trail brake, not braking that much here. You can lose a lot of time if you brake a little bit too much. Keep it in third gear, throttle again, keep it kind of to the middle, a little bit to the left. Then brake, second gear, keep it to the inside here. Because you get a lot of grip on the inside corner. And you need that to get a great exit, or you're gonna wash out into the gravel here. Now hit the throttle, use this curb as much as you can. There's basically no off track. And the next corner, we try to hit it like this. We step on the brakes as soon as we are off the grass here. Then we brake pretty hard. We try to get to the inside and we try to move a little bit to the outside here. And then we turn in and we go full throttle out of here. This is basically how you get the most grip out of that corner. Then the next corner, we jump onto this curb, and as we jump off the curb, we lift the throttle. Then we hit the throttle again as good as you can and as stable as the car feels. You can use the curbs here, it's all fine. Did you brake as soon as this part of the track ends here? And you hit the brakes, third gear, you try to get a fast exit because you need it right here. Then a little bit of trail braking, not that much braking here because you need a lot of speed to get out of this corner fast. And then you hit this curb completely. And there you go. Now, next corner is of course full throttle. And then we approach the chicane here. With the chicane, you go in the middle of 50 and 100 meters. You go to the braking, fourth gear seems good. Then cut the corner here. Just try to not get an off track. It's pretty easy to get an off track there, but that was fine. You can hit this curb if you have to. And then we go down, we brake into second gear. We want to stay on the inside here because there is a bit of banking on this corner. And the grip is here on the inside. Be careful with the acceleration. It can wash you out pretty fast here. You can even get some oversteer if you do it wrong. Then here you move to the right side. Make sure to not hit this barrier here. Then we get down into second gear, a little bit of braking. Make sure to not clip the curb on the inside. Go onto the throttle again. You can use a little bit of this curb, just don't overdo it because this curb is pretty high. Here we go into the fourth gear and then the fifth gear even before we hit the corner. You have to turn in pretty early, maybe a little bit earlier than you might think you have to. And then you get this corner with full throttle and everything is fine. Next corner, we brake kind of, as you can see this down here. You start to brake something like 50-60%. Then you release the brake a little bit because you're gonna lock up if you don't. And then as soon as you're on top here, you can increase the brakes a little bit again. and try to get this corner, going back onto the throttle. Use the curbs here. You can use the grass a little bit. Just try to not upset your car. You have to do it in a calm way here. You can use this curb as well. Then try to go down to the inside here. Don't clip this curb like I did here. Your goal is to just keep it down here on the inside, not on this curb. Because as you can see, the car does a little jump. You can use this curb on the outside here. It's all good. Then here we start to brake, and we want to use this curb as much as we can. If you do it too much, the car will understeer back to the outside of the track. So something like this, go onto the throttle. Try to not jump this curb too much, or jump it a little bit different than I did here, because as you notice, I was jumping here. Shouldn't do that. So next corner, we go full throttle here, all fine. Then we have this little jump here. And for this, you want to aim for that part here, the part where there is no grass. And now you lift the throttle. You can go even a little bit more to the left. Just be careful about that to not go completely on the grass here. And then you get back onto the throttle, and you want to keep it close to the inside. And with that, you get a fast exit here. And you definitely need this exit because this is a long straight coming up here. And you want to have the speed for this. So now right here, we lift the throttle as soon as we start to turn in. Then we go back onto the throttle, and here we start to hit the brakes because we need to get the next corner. Be careful about the lockup here. It's pretty easy to lock up. Try to keep it to the inside, a lot of trail braking. And then as soon as you notice you can not run out into the understeer anymore, you try to get back onto the throttle as much as you can. Jump onto this curb. It's all fine. Just don't do too much, and then it's good. Now down here, it's all full throttle, of course. This is pretty easy. And for the next corner, you lift the throttle even before you see this sign here. You go onto the a little bit, 5th gear, jump over this curb. Then we go 4th gear, we brake a lot again. 3rd gear, then we want to give it a throttle again. There is some different ways to take this corner, but this is how I do it here. Then we use the trail braking. 2nd gear, we try to keep it narrowed down to the inside of this corner. Don't clip the curb. Then you go onto the throttle. You have to lift the throttle again to make this turn in. Be sure to not hit this curb as well. And then you can go onto this curb, and you get a great exit out of this corner. That was all fine. Next one is a little bit tricky. You have to lift the throttle, a little bit of trail braking, not that much. Throttle again, and then you hit the brakes for this corner. 3rd gear, try to keep it to the inside because there's a lot of grip, and then you jump it down here. Keep it to the outside here as soon as you pass that sign here, close before this sign. You want to hit the brakes. Go down to 3rd gear and try to get it to the inside right here on this curb. Not going onto this curb, but you stay close to this curb. There's a lot of grip, and then you can use this curb on the outside to maximize your exit. Here you want to be on the outside, turn in, full throttle, all fine. Now we start the braking. We keep it on a little bit of braking, and then we hit the throttle again. We want to hit this apex right here. And full throttle out here. That's good. Here you can basically get a little bit of orientation on this tree. Because there we're going to start to brake for this corner. This is pretty tough because this is downhill and downhill into a corner. So you try to maximize your braking right here. Try to release your brake here because you're going to lock up if you don't. Then you can brake a little bit more again. Keep the trail braking on as much as you need it to get to the inside of this corner. Make sure to not clip the curb, but stay close to this curb. And then you go full throttle outside here. You can use this part of the track, and that is all good. Next one, we aim for the end of this curb, and even before that, you're gonna hit the brakes. So kind of right after this one. You hit the brakes here, go into 3rd gear, keep the trail braking, then you go into throttle. You don't want to wash out onto this curb. This is gonna make it slow. Then you go to the outside right here, hit the brakes a bit, and then full throttle again. This has been a little bit slow. You can do it faster than this. Definitely. I lost a little bit of time right here. Here we go full throttle. That is all fine. Next corner, you can basically aim either for the tree or you look at the signs on the right side. And for me, it is basically the tree. As soon as I pass that, I'm gonna step onto the brakes again. Then, as soon as you hit this gray part of the barrier here, you can start your turn in, keep on the trail braking, and then kind of in the middle of the corner a little bit earlier, you get back onto the throttle. There's a lot of grip on the inside. Try to not wash out onto this curb. This can basically get you into the grass and slow you down for this big straight coming up here, and you need a lot of speed here, so try to get as much of an exit as you can. Now you keep it basically full throttle and you just throw the car through these little corners here. Make sure to shift right. There is probably some battles here, which are pretty tough, but well, now next corner, you make sure you get this corner. If you don't, yeah, well, it's easy to wash out here and do an understeer. As soon as you hit the gray part here, you can lift the throttle off, get a little bit on the brakes, and then you hit the throttle again. This has been a little bit too much on the brakes even, but this is basically how you can do it, and then you get this corner pretty easy. Just be careful in slipstream because of a little bit of dirty air. Then you hit this full throttle, all good, and then as soon you can look a little bit down here, and then you just hit the brakes even before you go close to this curb. Then you go third gear, keep it on the outside, and then try to go to the inside. There's a lot of grip here on the inside. And with that, you just trail brake until you can turn and you throttle it. Not full throttle immediately, just a little bit less, and then you go here. So the carousel now, you go onto the brakes as soon as you see that kind of an angle in the curb here. And then you can enter this pretty late. So you don't jump in on the inside here, you jump in from the outside here. Second gear, go in and just make sure to get as much speed as you can. Try to not wash out here, this will cost you a lot of time. Try to not go too close to the inside because that's also cost you a lot of time. And then you try to maximize the throttle out of this. Just have to play a little bit with the throttle, find your way through it. Sometimes I get it fast, sometimes it is slow. It depends on, but the most important thing, don't wash out there. Now you go full throttle here. And here, as soon as you hit that curb, you get onto the brakes, a little bit of trail braking, not that much of braking. Fourth gear, throttle again, lift the throttle, and then throttle again out to this curb, braking down to the inside here. Don't clip that curb like I did. You can use this curb if you have to, that is all fine. Now you want to lift right here, use a little bit of brakes. Then you can brake again here, hit the throttle. You have to find a great rhythm here for you. You can try to get onto this curb. I did it without the curb. Then we lift the throttle again and we get back on it. There's also a way to do it without completely lifting the throttle here. This time I missed it a little bit and I had to lift completely. So go out onto this curb. You can get a little bit onto this grass if you want to. That is not enough trick then. You keep it fourth gear, braking. Try to keep it to the inside as much as you can. I missed it a little bit. And then you can hit this gray area here. That is all fine. Third gear, keep it to the inside, trail braking, and then throttle again. There's a lot of grip here. Then you want to get into this right here, as close to the left side as you can. Hit the brakes, release the brakes, because you can take a lot of speed into this corner because of the banking here. Then throttle again, try to not get an off track here. It's pretty easy to off track. Here you brake a little bit, trail braking, keep it to the inside. Kind of the same as the last corner. There's a lot of grip here. And then you try to just turn out to this curb here. Don't overdo it or you land into the gravel here. Here, as soon as you go downhill, you can hit the brakes. Third gear, try to keep it to the inside and get onto the throttle as early as you can without oversteering. Easy to oversteer there, so be careful about it. Now we go fifth gear. This is a big jump here. You have to kind of reduce the air time. If you do that, you're gonna get a little bit more pace out of it. How do you do that? You lift the throttle here and you tap the brake a little bit. Don't do it too much or the nose get straight down into the track, which is also pretty upsetting for the car. So you don't overdo it with the brakes. You just hit it a little bit. Then you can hit this on the left side here. I think this has been even a little bit too fast though. And 4th gear, and then you go all the way to the right side. If you don't feel comfortable, you have to try it out. What's the best for you in this case? So you can also try to just keep it onto the track completely here. Just try to tap the brake a little bit, not too much, and try to get the great exit here. 4th gear inside, and you try to get as close to the inside as you can. I understeer it here a little bit, which is pretty tricky then. If you understeer, you have to try to make this corner. And I basically did. That was great. And then we go 5th gear. We keep it to the outside here. Then we go inside. This is one of my favorite parts of the track because the force feedback is just throwing you around. Then you go 6th gear. And right here, you can look for this barrier part here, or you can look for this track part where there's no grass. You hit the brakes right there, just trail braking, 4th gear inside here. Then you go back onto the throttle, and then you can brake again, trail braking again, full throttle. Don't clip that curb. Yes, was a mistake. Couldn't happen. You can get onto this curb though. And on this curb, you can start the braking as soon as this disappears here. Then you try to go into this carousel. Now this time we really enter it pretty early. You try to stay on the inside and then full throttle it again. Try to not be too early there or you're gonna get into the grass. Next one, we brake kind of in the middle of this curb here. And just a little bit, just like 10% of braking is enough here. Then you go throttle again, try to not oversteer. Be careful about that oversteer. I had to lift a little bit because it got an oversteer. If you oversteer here, it is pretty much sure that you're gonna get an oversteer in that corner and you don't want to do that. So now you go on playing with the throttle as much as you can. Put down the throttle as much as you can as well and try to get to the outside of this corner. Try to not get washed out. You get a little bit of grip kind of here in the middle of the corner, which is great. And then you can go all the way to the straight line. Straight line, pretty self-explaining, just full throttle this. There's a lot of fights going on here, especially in the Porsche Cup. Don't forget, in the Porsche Cup, you have a lot of slipstream. So even if you're back like 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds, you still have slipstream here on this straight line. So don't worry about that too much. And now this is gonna be a little bit tough, especially if you're starting to fight. Be careful in this section with the fights, but most of the fights are happening right here. So we get to the inside here, the car's jumping a little bit. Just don't panic about that. Then as soon as we get to this curb, we lift the throttle, we hit the brakes pretty hard, or something like 60%, then we have to lift the brakes again. Because this is going a little bit down here, and if you go into the bump with the full braking, you're gonna lock up like crazy. And you don't want to do that, so you have to trail brake that down. Then you can increase it a little bit as soon as the car is stable. You get down to 2nd gear, you want to use all of this curb. Go full throttle, 3rd gear, don't clip that curb, be careful, just get tight to the inside here. Try to not hit this wall, and then there you go. This is how you drive on the Nordschleife. This is how you do this. That was a 8.18.112, which is a pretty decent lap. It could have been better, as you know, and it's still a great baseline to start with, and maybe just next time don't lose these 5/10s and all is good. So I hope this helps you a lot. This track is pretty difficult. This track takes a lot of time to practice, and I hope these are the tips you needed. So I hope to see you around in this week, also in the rain races. The rain race is going to be exciting, and we will be there with the stream and some official races. So you are invited to join the streams there. Twitch link is right down below in the description, or even on YouTube. The streams are also there. I hope you enjoyed this. Now I'm going to give you the full lap out of the cockpit with the telemetry and without the commentary. So I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great one. Adios.